Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Tournament Semifinals here on SpeedGaming. Tonight we have an exciting matchup between the defending champion, TheHaxor, versus MidiGuyDP. Hello everyone, I'm LOZ Cards Fan 23. Joining me on the commentary this evening, Growlwolf. I'll tell you what, Haxor, the previous champion of 2019, Macobra, gave everything that the Haxor could handle, but in the end, the defending champion won it 2-1. MidiGuyDP against Stewie Cartman won his quarterfinal matchup against Stewie Cartman 2-0. So, we are starting with world number 6. We are not wasting any time, Growlwolf.
No, you're absolutely right. These two guys are absolutely on fire. Their group stages were impeccable. We've got MidiGuyDP with the slight edge tonight, coming in at a second seed, whereas the Haxor right behind him with the third seed. This is the fairy tale matchup we've been looking for.
Absolutely. And speaking of fairy tale matchups, should the Haxor end up winning tonight, we will have a rematch of last year's Grand Championship between the Haxor and Teaks88.
Yeah, I think that's the one that everybody is expecting at this point. You know, you've got the Haxor, who's been on the scene for so long, known for his 100% runs, just an absolute phenom in that regard. But you're going up against MidiGuyDP, who honestly, coming into this tournament, is one of the fastest in the game right now, posing many sub-30s back-to-back almost, it seems. I mean, these two guys are fierce competitors. I wouldn't be surprised if we get 3 tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a best 2 out of 3. Whoever gets to 2 stars first will advance to the Grand Championship. But a very nasty Hammer Brothers section in Haxor. Even the best in the business like Haxor, that could be a tough one. But MidiGuy is small, but does get by the Boomerang Bro and takes it down and will pick up a star.
Not a terrible item right off the bat. It's a little bit of a chance to kind of start a level knowing exactly what you're going to get out of it with a star, especially after, you know, going through this pipe. You're going to have a couple more Hammer Bros to contend with. Having that star for a little bit of extra help is going to be helpful for sure.
Does look like that other fort is required, and it turns out to be the carpet fort. A little French vanilla action here. 6F3.
Yeah, definitely a wonderful fort to get started with. Not really one that you expect to be small for. And definitely if you're going to try to get through some of this, those damage boosts are nice just to be on the safe side. But, you know, pretty tame set here. So I think the guys are going to be okay.
Yep, we also had 3F2 as our first fort. So that one is off the board. Here's Haxor with the boom boom and takes him down, as does MidiGuyDP. So they're literally one stomp apart. Very close race early on.
Absolutely. And I want to say get used to this. Unless we come down to like a huge 50-50 swing where one of the runners gets it right, the other gets it wrong. You know, unless we get a perfect storm in that regard, expect to see a lot of this one stomp, 2 stomp difference. One of them's falling while the other one's finishing their Koopa fight. You know, these races are going to be close.
Double hammers here for the Haxor and the MidiGuyDP. Now, what flag set have they decided to do for game number 1?
This is the almost quintessential randomizer run. It's brackets. We've got almost no fun, no gimmicks. We've got a bunch of randomized levels. Hammers are only breaking rocks, so that's going to limit their usability across this race. And really, that's about it. We've got random enemies.
I'll tell you what, the Haxor making quick work of those music blocks, and now MidiGuy going to have to wait out that piranha as he's now small. Haxor sticks to dismount. MidiGuy not going to go for the YOLO jump. And Haxor keeping that minuscule lead on MidiGuy.
Absolutely. And we're going to see a lot of this, I think, throughout the match, where it's going to be one coming out of the level a little bit quicker than the other. It's going to be tight.
Now, Haxor's checking the map here, and I don't know why. There were 2 panel 10s, and MidiGuy in trouble here in the 1-6 beta. So I don't know what Haxor was checking there, but that's going to enable, for the time being, MidiGuy to take the lead. But this enemy set, very nasty in this 1-6 beta. You've got the fire snakes, you've got the fire chomps. MidiGuy just doesn't care. He is breezing by everything here and is going to take the lead.
I think what we saw there from the Haxor was a bit of a defensive play, and I don't hate it because he knows that he's got that hammer. And World 6 is one of the few worlds that you can actually use the hammer in productively.
MidiGuy in 7-1, he is small, Haxor is big. And because MidiGuy has no power-ups, he has to play through it.
Now this is where it's going to come down to, is it faster clip or go through the level? It's something like 17.
There's your answer. There's your answer right there. And that is going to give HaxorR a good size lead already. Oh, what a time for 7-1, ladies and gentlemen.
How crazy is it that even the matter of a power-up is going to help define this game? I mean, we could see, you know, the iconic Hammer Brother versus a Fireball, you know, anything like that on Bowser. But how many of these small little things are going to add up over time and declare our winner tonight?
Nice boost off of the Troopa there for MidiGuy. It does get by 7-1. A death there would have been really devastating. HaxorR right now in 3-5.
Yeah, these guys are going to be tight the whole way through. I mean, MidiGuy doing a fantastic job. Small all the way through 7-1. No gimmicks, no worries, anything like that.
MidiGuy took the top panel, and it turns out to be a faster stage. At least I think it's a faster stage in 3-1.
I think it's going to depend on if he goes for the power-up here. It looks like he's not going to. That P-Wing or P-Speed just way too valuable.
Yep, so MidiGuy is going to hopefully get a few seconds back, but has to get by Big Bertha, and he does. We have the airship, the World 1 airship, where we will have the Let Me Have It. Not a shrimp. It's not a one-hitter. Not a two-hitter either. 3. No, he bulked up. Alrighty, a 4-hitter. HaxorR takes it down, and MidiGuy now in that World 1 airship. I would imagine he'll take this power-up. He does. And HaxorR, the first one into our second world, but MidiGuy is right there.
And Chad, go ahead and get your guesses in for what you think the next world is. We've seen World 6. What you got coming up next?
How about 7?
I think I'll go one difference. Let's go 5.
All right, sounds good. So you look at this difference here. It's pretty tight. It's about a 6:05 when HaxorR was falling down here. MidiGuy is going to be about 24 seconds back, and you were absolutely right there, Growlwolf. It is World 5. And we've got more underwater action for you, because now we've got 7-4. And of course, the good thing about 7-4 is that auto-scrollers are turned off. 3 exceptions if you've not seen the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer. There are 3 situations where the auto-scrollers are not turned off. Number 1, that is if, take a look at this. MidiGuy is going to go for the tower here in hopes of a shortcut. I don't fault him for this play.
No, I don't either. You know there's going to be at least 2 fortresses up top, because you've got that bridge and that lock. So what are the chances you have to come back down? I think it's a 50-50. Is this pipe on the right side, or is it the sky? Well, we're about to find out.
Absolutely. If this pipe takes him to the other side, MidiGuy has guessed correctly. No! We now know that the pipe is... Oh, no. HaxorR's going to extend that lead.
Yeah, this is not looking good for MidiGuy. That's the 50-50 we were talking about. Now the HaxorR just has to figure out which one the right lock is. No fortresses down below, so he's on the right level.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's just, again, bad luck there. And you can't fault MidiGuy for making that play. He knows who he's up against. He knows he has to take some chances, but unfortunately, the guess proved to be incorrect. So back to the talk about auto-scrollers here. So there are 3 situations where auto-scrollers are not turned off. Number 1 is 5-9. That is the diagonal auto-scroller. Number 2 is the stage that we affectionately like to call Atlantis, one of the 9 beta levels. Speaking of beta levels, HaxorR is in that 3-9 beta, does lose his tail. And the third situation is Coin Heaven. Those are the 3 situations where the auto-scrollers are not turned off.
And the reason for that is, you know, we push this game to its absolute limit. We, as in the Royal We, the community does a fantastic job with that. And this game is pushed to its absolute limits for being an over 30-year-old game. But unfortunately, what happens with some of those levels, the reason that can't be turned off is because it actually breaks the map. For platforms and things like that that are supposed to spawn won't spawn correctly if it's not done within a certain way. So that's the reason that I've been told that those haven't been turned off yet. Although I think Coin Heaven is actually the difference.
We have a required Piranha Fort 7F2. No, it's not required. It's again an incorrect guess for MidiGuy.
That is crazy. There's a myth, and I have to call it a myth now, because normally on 2 fortresses, blue, it will always be the blue lock. But if there's 3, as we just saw, that doesn't necessarily ring true, as the Haxor just found out. He played this correctly.
Absolutely, yep. Yeah, if it's 2 forts, 99% of the time, if not 100% of the time, the blue fort will break the blue lock. But yep, if there's 3, there's a situation right there. No dice.
And this is unfortunately nothing that MidiGuy has necessarily done wrong. It's just the way that the seed has been treating him so far. This is going to be a really tough one to come back from.
Well, there's an old saying I always like to say, RNG favors the favorites. I mean, I know MidiGuy has the higher seed barely over the TheHaxor, but let's face it, the TheHaxor is the defending champion. He's the favorite amongst a lot of people's eyes.
Oh, and rightfully so. I mean, the TheHaxor has been in the spotlight for so long as a good, seasoned veteran runner of this game. I mean, you even look at race time, you've got the TheHaxor that's boasting over 3,100 points, and MidiGuy, not far behind him at 2,700. I think that kind of tells you what the difference is here.
Yeah, most certainly is. So the TheHaxor is the next one that will be heading for 3rd world here. MidiGuy just cleared 5-6. And I'll tell you what, though, very good P-speed stretch. I mean, he is heading in the right direction as we get a frog suit. World 2 is now up.
So it looks like we've got a free pipe here, and I would not be surprised at all to see a hammer come out here. This is one of the few worlds where it's going to be helpful. You've already got 1 fort, 1 lock. Might as well give it a go.
Next up is 1-4 for the TheHaxor. No problem for the 3-9 beta on MidiGuy's side.
From chat, we've got Dust Minion, who has been helping behind the scenes. Definitely appreciate all the help. Mentioning that it is worth noting it's MidiGuy's first time in the semis. So one of the crazy things about this community is the amount of new blood that never ceases to amaze.
All right, taking a look here, and yeah, that hammer going to come in handy. We do not have to play that fort. It wouldn't surprise me if it was the World 1 fort, but who knows. In any event, we do have 7-8 Piranha Alley here. A very disgusting level here, and this is one of the reasons why this guy likes to show up a lot.
Yeah, and that always gets extremely concerning, especially when you see how close it is, because you've got to stop and go into that pipe, and Boss Bass is always tracking.
Yep, when you go, of course, you could have taken the chance and not go down that pipe, but it's just a much safer option than, risk getting swallowed up by Boss Bass.
A beautiful clip on the side of MidiGuyDP to avoid going through those flamethrowers. So very nice job there to catch up just a little bit of time that's very needed.
Now, Roy ended up being an Earthquake 4 hitter there. MidiGuy takes him down. TheHaxor flying over the mast here in the World 2 airship. This is vanilla. We've got the saltiest Koopa in town, but how salty is he? 2 hits? No. 3. He got the salt today. 4 hitter. So, 3 worlds, all 3 Koopalings have been 4 hits.
Honestly, after that first world, we've seen basically 1 world done in about 6 minutes, and now we've got 2 worlds that have right after that were also done within 6 minutes. So this is staking up to be a really interesting seed so far. Be extremely coincidental to see if the next one comes in 4 as well.
All right, music box, which could come in handy in World 7, and we've got 3 levels that are required. And oh no, we have got a required Atlantis for these runners here to start things off. They have no Jugum Cloud, so people who are on Team Atlantis, you got your wish in game number 1.
What a crazy seed so far. A absolute delight. We've got a required Atlantis. We nearly had a required 7F2. We saw it played anyway, nonetheless. I mean, we've seen the water arena with the Hammer Bros. I mean, we've seen some really great things so far.
Yeah, I mean, we're now in the semifinals. You can't have any easy pickings here for these top runners who have made it this far. Now here's MidiGuy's opportunity at 7-8. Getting the P speed, but does lose it, is going to get that tail right back. But he's going to see Boss Bass, and let's see what kind of decision he's going to make here. And he's going to go and check the pipe because he lost that tail. I don't fault MidiGuy. He's going to check the block, and it ends up being a mushroom, so nothing happens.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, and unfortunately, really nothing gained, but he's going to get through this one here pretty quick. And I'd expect to see the hammer here as well. Definitely feels like that's the right play.
Now, to my knowledge, anything can be in that big question block, including the 3 1-ups. I think there's one exception. I don't think a star can be there, can it?
I would have to look that up, honestly. I'm not sure.
I honestly don't think I've ever seen a star, but anything else is pretty much fair game in that giant question block, as Haxor's now in the 7.3 beta, which, by the way, does have a coin heaven, but it is very difficult to get access to without taking that 100 coin fine. MidiGuy, meanwhile, finishing up the Morton fight here in the desert world, and he'll move on to World 4. He's going to see that nasty surprise coming up in Atlantis.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one that everybody loves to see unless you're the one with the controller. But we obviously love just the absolute demise of runners on this channel, which is honestly why I think we're all here.
I always think 6-2 is probably the most difficult auto-scroller that is shut off because of that blind jump right there. I can't tell you how many times I've fallen off because I'd take a jump and just fall right to my demise.
Yeah, removing the auto-scroller, you wouldn't think about it quite as much, but it really does affect really the whole tempo behind it. Air Force is another great example of how awkward it is to play without that auto-scroller.
I do think having the auto-scroller turned off, it makes Air Force easier. I was never fond of it as a kid. I think it's much easier with the auto-scroller turned off, but I think 6-2 is one of the few levels where I actually think it is harder with the auto-scroller turned off. Here's World 8 for it now for Haxor.
Wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a 1 cycle here. Not terribly easy because you don't know which enemy set is going to be on your road here, but these guys make it look good. Watch him find a way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they throw at you. Well, HaxorR does take damage and still gets the 1 cycle, just won't be able to get the fire kill on Boom Boom. Midi now in the middle of Atlantis here, gets a star. Stars are pretty much useless because you still got to get through these Gelectros here and whatever enemies are at the end. If it's one of those nanny bloopers, you know, you're going to have a rough time, but no problem there for MidiGuy. Now, one thing you always have to be careful on Atlantis is you don't want to enter that pipe too quickly, because if you do so, you die.
The glory of the old beta stages that we've managed to find from the code somehow, and we're able to do just some really cool things with it. I mean, we even had one, the 1.6 beta that Fred was able to procure from the code, and just incredible. But it's the little gimmicks like that that bring us all back, I think.
All right, here is the Donut Fort. The Haxor's now in 4F2, and well, kind of had second thoughts about the power-up, and maybe he should have went with his first instinct, because that's going to slow him down just a little bit. Now MidiGuy at 6-2.
Those hot foots are absolutely annoying on those donut forts, or on the donut lifts, because if you can get over one with the hot foot, he'll actually drop through and you can continue on your way. And I think that's probably what HaxorR was trying to do there. Unfortunately, the hot foot had just a little bit more of an idea of what he wanted to do there.
And you've got two variations of the hot foot. You've got the one that acts like the Boo Diddleys, the normal ones that you see in the vanilla game. And then you've got what we like to call the crazy foots that will go in any direction anytime they want.
And especially in some of those forts like 6F3, the carpet fort, those little crazy hot foots, some call them the drunken hot foots, they just get chaotic and make your run a huge nightmare at that point.
Well, that fort ended up being required because a lock blocks our progress to get to Wendy's castle. So even though there was not a lock at Wendy's, it seems like 99.9% of the time, if there is a fort in World 3, it has to be played. Whether or not there's a lock at Wendy's, doesn't matter. It's got to be played.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like the 1 or 2 times that we see the lock outside of the realm where it's needed, it's obviously going to be like 1-4 most likely, and it's probably going to be World 1 Fortress, honestly. So, like you said, an extremely rare route to be able to do that, and it looks like MidiGuy's going to miss that cycle.
Yep, didn't get the 1 cycle like the HaxorR did, and by the way, it didn't look like Wendy got the memo of the big buffet because she was only a 2-hitter, had to settle for just the Frosty.
MidiGuy going to be able to use that fire flower to his advantage and get out of the fight with Boom Boom super quick, and we'll be moving on just as close behind HaxorR as he can possibly get here.
Ooh, we got ourselves a Hammer Bro suit, and now the World 2 fort for Haxor.
A little bit of an interesting World 1 here. If this doesn't break the lock that we need it to, then he's going to have to play quite a few levels here, at least 3 along the top, and then a couple more in the 1-5, 1-6 slot. So a little bit of a longer World 1, surprisingly.
And that can happen when you have more than one fort. Ooh, Haxor losing his fire suit, so won't be able to get the fire kill on Boom Boom. Yeah, Meaty Guy having to play this fort, the Donut Fort. And even though Haxor's got quite the lead on Meaty Guy, it's not like Meaty Guy has been playing poorly. It's just he's lost 2 coin flips in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys have been absolutely fire getting through the P-Speed strats, you know, just really putting forth the effort here. And
I think guess is right.
Yeah, that's definitely one that you want to get right, and thankfully that's not going to be a 50-50 for Midi Guy. Those haven't exactly gone his way, but on to the fight with Wendy. Here we go.
All right, Haxor now in 6-4. Yep, that's why you want to hit that P-switch. You want to go over that spinning log, because if you don't time it right, you're going to be spun downwards and taking that 100 coin fine. Yep, Meaty Guy now on his way to Wendy. Next up, we've got 1-2 for the Haxor. Do we have Boss Bass? We don't, but we do have the nasty fire enemy set.
Grabbing a star for a little bit of added security is never a bad option, especially when you start a level and see those fire chomps. It's just going to be a bad time through and through.
Ooh, Meaty Guy struggling here with the Wendy fight, but good news for him, and she was just a 2-hitter.
Wendy is one of those Koopa lanes, one of the very few. Like, even Lemmy's not so bad, because at least you can jump on top of the balls he throws out. But Wendy, the longer the fight goes on, it just seems like it gets so much more grueling on the runners.
Yeah, because you have those candy cane rings that she throws out, and she'll throw a maximum of 3. And yeah, if you touch any part of it, even if you're jumping on it, you are going to take damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a really terrifying fight, and actually is easier with the earthquake turned on, I found.
That's what a lot of people have told me, and I think you're right about that. It's all about timing when it comes to that Wendy fight, because if you can time it just right, that you can hit her very quick, those rings will not spawn. But then, unfortunately for the Haxor, he just got hitboxed by Larry Cheatsy Koopa. I mean, he's not called Cheatsy Koopa for a reason there, as he was a 5-hitter, but Haxor takes him down. Meaty didn't mean to do that, it sounds like. I thought he was going to take maybe a damage boost to just get through like that, but yeah, that was an accidental fall, unfortunately. So Meaty Guy, couple of little mishaps here and there, but you know, nothing that's been too serious. But Haxor building on that lead as he goes to World 6. All we've got left is World 4 and World 7. I think it's going to be 4.
Yeah, I think 7 is going to get really interesting, and personally, I'd like to see that right before World 8, and I think we're going to get that wish, because World 7 is known as one of the great equalizers, World 8 being the greatest equalizer. This race is far from over. These guys are close.
Yep, and it is just the one fort. We have to build the bridge, so we will play it. Here is the star use for the Haxor, and use a star, get a star. Meaty Guy safely through 6-4, using the hammer to skip panel 7, and 5F2 will be our gatekeeper to build the bridge, the lava fort.
That is one of those strats that you just don't see a whole lot in Randomizer, just because it really doesn't matter most of the time, but we're starting to get to the end. Only one further place for him to use that hammer, and heads up play right there. I mean, that's as good of a cloud.
Definitely, and likewise for Meaty Guy, use a star, get a star, gets his star from the Hammer Brother from World 1. Now he's on 1-2. Haxor just finished off 5F2, and we'll be moving on to the next level, as Meaty Guy will pick up his Fire Flower here in 1-2. Panel 5 or panel 6, it's going to be panel 5, and it's one of the hand stages. This is the Hammer Brothers party mix, and that Hammer Bro's like, see ya!
I decided it was time to not be at work anymore and was out of there. Speaking of getting out of there, we've got MidiGuyDP now on his fight with Larry, and we'll be joining the Haxor here in World 4 in just moments.
Yep, and unfortunately, I want a refund on my party mix because I got no Sledgehammer Bros, but also we do have leaves as our item, just like you would see in the vanilla game, as we have the World 7 airship, the longest airship of the game.
Definitely one of the coolest, though, as soon as they get the P-Speed off. I mean, this is just fantastic work by the TheHaxor here.
Yep, it's a lot of difficult jumps, and it's a long way down if you miss those barrels right there. Let's see if Iggy decided to play or if he's a one-hit quitter. Well, Iggy definitely came to play even if he was a one-hit quitter, but TheHaxor takes him down.
A little bit of dancing there. It looked like round one was going to be full of dancing, but finally the bell hit, and that game is over. Now we go into World 7, and this is going to get interesting. We'll see if we get any juicy 50-50s here.
Yeah, MidiGuy, if there are 50-50s, is going to have to nail a 50-50 to get back into this race here. The TheHaxor right now in pretty good shape to take game number one, but anything is still possible.
Yeah, well said. I mean, we've got World 7 coming up. We've got World 8, but MidiGuy is going to need a little bit of love from the seat if that's going to work in his favor.
Okay, we do have 2 forts, so there is some potential here.
Not to mention the mace fatigue.
Oh, one of them is required, but which one?
You know, you almost want to argue that both are somewhat required, but it looks like the TheHaxor are going to go ahead and play 7-9, see if that pipe is going to take him exactly where he wants to be. The fastest road is the quickest one.
And TheHaxor is going to fly up to the left, which is always a good sound strat, because trying to grab those ice blocks, if there's a lot of sprites in play, will be impossible to do, because if there's a sprite overload, you won't be able to pick up those ice blocks to proceed. So good heads-up play there by TheHaxor. Try to get a clip in there, didn't get it. As MidiGuy takes down the Sledgehammer Bro, gets his music box.
The amount of knowledge in this game, especially between these two runners, is just astounding. I mean, to know that level of detail and incorporate it in your play like the TheHaxor did is just fantastic and really shows the level that these guys are playing at.
And that Hammer Bro said, see ya! He doesn't want to work his shift either. So, TheHaxor now going to have to find the correct pipe that's going to take him to a fort. And there's some potential right there, but he's not going to pick that one. He might be thinking of the bottom one. See, here is a situation. Theoretically, let's say the TheHaxor plays this bottom fort if he gets to. Nope, he's got to play more 3-pipe Monty. What if MidiGuy? Well, he does not want to play 3-pipe Monty, I guess. What does the TheHaxor have in mind, Growlwolf? He's changed his mind. He is going to play that one panel and go for the top fort.
It seems like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and I think at this point he doesn't want to have to go through the guessing game so much as he wants to play a little bit of recon, make a decision, and go for it. I think we're going to see the exact same in World 8 coming up next.
And we do have 4-2 with Boss Bass, but it did not glitch out to a giant Goomba, so this seed is invalidated. I'm sorry, folks. You're going to have to pack it in.
Yeah, highly unfortunate that we don't have a valid seed this time, but we hope you still bear with us, and we'll try to make it up to you in a game 3, but, you know, we're going to have to let the racers define that. But now we've got 6F2.
6F2, the Ice Fort, with the tail. And yep, TheHaxor is going to go for the gutsy stretch. So now, if this top fort doesn't break the lock that we need, then this could get very interesting if MidiGuy decides to play 3-pipe Monty. But I have a feeling he's not going to play 3-pipe Monty. And if TheHaxor would have played, I'm just curious. Let's see what happens here. 6F2 is done, taking care of the boom boom. And he'll have to take a peek to see if that indeed broke the right lock or if we have to find the other fort. That's it. Wow, changing his mind at the last second, and it ended up being a good decision, Growlwolf. He's going to keep his lead.
This is insane. I mean, the TheHaxor with every last play, he's been on fire this entire time and no signs of slowing down at all.
Yeah, absolutely. TheHaxor almost letting MidiGuyDP back into this one, but in the end, he made the right decision, and he will have quite a substantial lead going into the Great Equalizer World 8. First, we have to take down Ludwig von Koopa here in the World 5 airship.
The conductor of chaos, obviously, we're going to have to be watching to see what he does here. Looks like a fire kill trying to come out for the TheHaxor.
Oh, just a one-hit wonder. So much for chaos there, Growlwolf. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time again. Make your prediction of how many bridges it's going to take to build the path to Bowser's Castle. And can you believe this? MidiGuy is going bottom. He's going to lose another coin flip.
This is insane. I mean, you have to feel like at some point you're playing really gutsy calls and things like that. Unfortunately, though, these gutsy calls just aren't going in his favor. The obvious path is the one that we need to be doing here, and unfortunately, that's going to be lost on a 3-4 Monty, or a 3-pipe Monty, I guess.
Absolutely here. So no locks up front, and this would be Super Tank, something you typically see in World 8. We already saw the Navy. We haven't seen the Air Force. So I'm thinking we're going to see 3F1, 4F1, Air Force. If we see all 4, of course, but who knows?
I don't know that we've seen 7F1. It's a good possibility we saw that, or would have seen that in World 5 if all the forts were played.
Possibly. Now, I know somebody has told me in the latest version of the Mario 3 Randomizer that they've been seeing less and less times where the World 4 forts and the World 7 forts pair up. Well, rip the 4-bridge dream. There's a lock on the left side of Handbridge. Haxor wants no part of Handbridges. We now have the escalator fort 6F1. So we ended up having 2 World 6 forts here in World 7, but unfortunately for MidiGuy, it's going to be the wrong decision.
Yeah, absolutely heart-wrenching when you look on the side of MidiGuy. Really not doing anything wrong. The randomizer just was not in MidiGuy's favor today, at least for this race.
Well, there's a second lock, so 3 bridges is out of the question. And that's just a dead end, so Haxor will have to go back.
I love this play from the TheHaxor with the decision to go through recon, figure out where Bowser is first, then make the decision.
Well, that's another dead end, so obviously the left side of the Dark Maze is fruitless, so he's going to go for the right. Oh, but he gets grabbed by the hand. And it ends up being the 1-5 beta. Let's see if he decides to play it out or take the 100-coin fine. He's going to take the 100-coin fine.
Not a bad level when you think about it, but it is a time waste. And if you believe the other guy is either ahead of you or exactly where you are, you know, you take those little bit of gambles and hope those few seconds matter.
A little does Haxor know he's got a massive lead in him. Check off the Air Force, so that's 2.
Yeah, the massive amount of respect between these guys. You have to be in World 8 first, and you can't make a bad decision. I mean, if you've got a pipe that leads directly to Bowser and you don't search it right off the bat, you know, that's another chance for the other guy to come in and swoop in, take that victory away from you. So got to be really careful and also very aggressive here.
All right, here we go. Haxor takes care of the boom boom here at the Air Force, and we'll move on to the next level. Again, we still do not know where Bowser's castle is, but he could be to the right. Did break that lock, which builds the path to this pipe. Is this where Bowser's castle is? It is. No bridges at all. Haxor is ready to go. He's in the catbird seat.
We had one guess of 0 by my account, and that was from Mew Fan. A believer came out because that is huge. I mean, this game is over.
Yeah, this is absolutely lock, stock, and barrel over with, unless somehow the Haxor system ends up malfunctioning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, the TheHaxor has been nothing shy of perfect, honestly. I mean, I don't think I've seen a single fault from the guesses to the play. It's all been on the TheHaxor this time.
Yeah, it most certainly has been. I mean, just losing every coin flip has been MidiGuy. Now, Haxor has been struggling to get this clip here to get the Bowser's room, but there it is. It's just a matter of time now until Haxor punches his ticket to a game number 1 win.
And what a place to be. I mean, to get out of game 1 with a win. Now, MidiGuy's got a whole slew of things he's got to get through now. He's got to do a reverse sweep. Coming out with 1, I mean, that's huge. And now I think we're going to have to see a lot of aggression come in next game for MidiGuy.
Absolutely. Get your GGs out for the TheHaxor. He takes game number 1 and is just 1 win away from a rematch of last year's Grand Championship.
I know I've seen Teek's name a couple times in the chat, and I am not surprised at all. Teek's obviously a huge fan of the sport. We love watching the gameplay and stuff, and I think he's definitely watching to see who's going to take this, because either way, it's going to be a grueling fight.
The official race time GG score that the TheHaxor has put up, 33 minutes and a half.
You know, with that first world taking 6 minutes, coming out of that with the 33 is impressive. I love this play here from MidiGuy, who's going through the rest of the World 8. You don't want to throw in the towel yet. Finish your stride, finish your tempo, get through this, get the feelings out of the way. It's a semifinal. You earned your right to be here. Get ready for game 2, because this is nothing that MidiGuy has done wrong, and he's got to get out of that mental game and make sure he's ready for the next one.
Yeah, both of these players have pretty much more or less played lights out. I mean, you could definitely see the skill set on both players here, but MidiGuy's luck is going to have to change in game number 2, or he'll be heading down into the bronze medal match.
Absolutely, where Pro A awaits, and I'm sure he's watching as well. Both these guys just absolutely insane in their running, and the top 4, top 8, top 16 have all just been incredible matches. This has been one of the best tournaments I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, most certainly it has been. I mean, you've got the best runners in the world, although I think a lot of people are still a little bit in shock that you're not seeing Mitch Flower Power make the podium. This will be the first time in the history of the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer tournament that he will not make the podium. But it just goes to show what you're mentioning earlier, is that the amount of talent that we've been seeing over the years, especially the last few years, has really, really risen.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you see MidiGuyDP, and I love watching him play. He's just got such a fire, a burning passion out of all this. So, we are seeing new blood, old blood.
There's the first real misstep that we've seen from any runner tonight. MidiGuy shorting that jump here now, using the frog suit just so that he can get rid of it.
Yeah, a lot of times, unfortunately, in the randomizer, that frog suit is really just a mushroom in disguise, and I'm sure MidiGuy appreciates that here, as he needs that little boost to get through Air Force. Air Force is known for really punishing a missed input.
And, unfortunately, Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer, and I can attest to that as someone who has played this randomizer before, can be known to having a lot of eaten up inputs, and that's really set you back. And I'll tell you what, this ended up being a little bit of a faster World 8 for MidiGuy, I do see. Let's see if he can get the perfect Bowser's Castle.
We're going to come in about almost 4 minutes exactly after the TheHaxor if he gets a couple of these clips to go in his favor. So you have to start to wonder, where did that time go? We had the 50-50 early on. We had the 50-50 in World 7. Just a lot of things that unfortunately didn't go MidiGuy's way. We'll see if we can flip the tables this next time.
Couple of lasers here. Now, also a new thing here is that top path always has 4 fireballs, and bottom path always has 5 fireballs. That was something that Fred changed in the latest edition of the randomizer, and that was a pretty good Bowser's Castle there for MidiGuy, and a pretty good World 8 overall. Get your GGs out for MidiGuy. A very solid performance. It's just bad luck, unfortunately, sullied the performance for MidiGuy.
Yeah, unfortunate for sure. And really, again, no fault of his. He did just a fantastic job. The P-speed was there. The speed was there. The item utilization was there. I mean, through and through, just a fantastic race. The randomizer just took that away from him.
We have an official race time GG timer of 37 minutes and 36 seconds for the MidiGuy. So 4 minutes, yeah. A couple of things. Yeah, 3 things, in my opinion, decided this one for sure. 7-1. You had that situation where MidiGuy had to play through it. TheHaxor was able to get the clip after about 4 or 5 attempts. You had the incorrect coin flip on World 5, and then the incorrect coin flip on World 7. I mean, you take those 3 things away, yeah, this would have been a very, very close race.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, the way that randomizer goes is it's not necessarily going to favor one or the other. I mean, the first one was a bracket set. That's what we got from MidiGuy. Now the TheHaxor has chosen a question mark flag set, which I think is going to be interesting. You're not going to be able to count the levels to see what forts you're going to be looking at, and it removes the hand level stage luck really from World 8. So
yes,
TheHaxor looking for a really honest run here.
Yep, you'll love to see it. So again, there will be no end card game. There will no be hammers breaking locks either. Again, they're going to be playing it straight, but this time question marks. So yep, you can't tell how many levels there are. Can't tell how many forts there are just by counting the panel numbers. So these runners are going to have to make a lot of gutsy decisions here in game number 2. We're going to take a quick pause here on the Speed Gaming, but when we come back, game number 2 between TheHaxor and MidiGuyDP in the semifinals of the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer tournament. That'll be coming up right after this. Do not go away.
Welcome back, race fans. We are just about ready for game 2. Game 1 went to TheHaxor in a brackets match. This time we're going to be invoking the power of the question mark level, and we're going to be getting our runners started here in just moments.
Absolutely. He's Grawlwolf. I'm LOZ Cards Fan 23. Haxor currently ahead 1-0 in this best of 3 semifinals here. If TheHaxor wins, he will have a date with Teaks88, a rematch of last year's Grand Championship. So MidiGuy must reverse sweep if he wants to spoil those plans.
And who better to do it? I mean, these guys have been absolutely phenomenal. We saw an incredible race from Teaks88 versus Pro A007 and the other of the semifinal matches, and now we've got MidiGuyDP, fresh blood to the semifinals, going against a very seasoned veteran in TheHaxor. I'm expecting another incredible run, and let's hope this time MidiGuy can send this to game 3.
Yeah, MidiGuy's fortunes have to turn on this game if he wants to keep his hopes alive. I mean, the skill set on both runners is definitely there. There's absolutely no question about it, Grawlwolf. It's just MidiGuy has to win these coin flips against someone like TheHaxor. He loses even one coin flip, it could be all she wrote.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even an item, anything is just enough to be the difference between these two. Last time we talked about the Hammer Brothers suit coming in at the very end. That's one mushroom house, potentially. That's a Hammer Brothers stage. You know, whatever the case may be, you got to keep it close.
All right, this time we are starting with World 3, and I do believe once again this is going to be 6-2, which again has a very blind jump. Unless, of course, you take this tall platform and just fall straight down, then you will not fall. But, of course, these are speedrunners here. They're going to try to get through it as quickly as possible. Haxor's stopping to get the Fire Flower. MidiGuy decided to skip it.
Very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in this next level, because almost any time there's a power-up difference, it's almost immediately changed as soon as you go through the next one.
All right, Haxor and MidiGuy are both checking this pipe, but unfortunately, the bad news, as you kind of expect, Grawlwolf, no such thing as a free World 3. We've got to play a fort.
No, as good as these guys are, they don't need any free routes. They don't need any free seeds. We're expecting a long, grueling matchup between these two. The 33 minutes last time was a great start. I want to see something even better this time.
All right, both of them have a fire suit now in 6-8. Since MidiGuy had to collect his, Haxor will, well, they're pretty much side by side. For all intents and purposes, they're tied.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys in the speed gaming behind the scenes are just impeccable. They keep us synced up so we can know exactly what's going on at any given time. And these guys are seriously synced up right now.
Well, it looks like we have to play this level anyway, because that ended up being a troll pipe skirting around this 3-9 beta.
You know, you almost have to love it. An early World 3 means no double hammers. It means these runners are going to have to do it the honest way. And quite frankly, I mean, the long, grueling match is what I'm here for. And I think chat will agree with me here as well.
No question about it here. MidiGuy is able to dodge the fireworks there as they both get their one up. So now we are going to play this fort, and there's the Air Force. What closed out last race is going to open this race. Here's a Hammer Bros, a leaf pickup for the Haxor. Not too shabby at all.
Now, that's one of those unsung heroes of the randomizer. I don't know how many times I've watched some real seasoned veterans just breeze through levels with that tail. It may take just a second or two longer, but you're safe. You're able to control where you're falling, and, you know, sometimes that's what you need to get into the next stage.
All right, MidiGuy getting through the Air Force. Haxor, a little bit of a bonk there, so it's going to cost him just a little bit. But last jump is successful. No problem with the Air Force. MidiGuy is going to play the Hammer Bro suit, though. Or the Hammer Bro suit, but the Hammer Bro the stage, and it ends up being a music box, which again could come in handy in World 7. Let's see if the Haxor decides to play it, and it looks like that is the only fort. And Haxor's also going to be playing Hammer Bros. They want to stock up on their inventory, so both of these runners equal footing in their items.
Yeah, we see both of our runners just not wanting to give anything up. And once again, we've got a near sync up as both runners going into the fight with Wendy.
Yeah, they're pretty much tied, and we do have a vanilla situation. All right. Okay, game. 3-hit Wendy. Is that what we're going to get, a 3-hit Wendy? We're about to find out. Well, maybe not, because, again, both of these runners have the fire suit. And I would imagine they're going to go for some grilled baconators here, and that's what MidiGuy's trying to do. She was a 2-hitter.
We're ordering off the kids' menu or something at this point, because that was not much of a fight.
Yeah, Wendy did not show up tonight. I mean, there's always game 3 if we get there, but yeah, Wendy disappointing tonight. But no matter. MidiGuy about a second lead on the Haxor. That's what you'll love to see after one world.
Absolutely. Keep it close. Keep it really tight throughout as many levels as you can. And just let fate decide the rest. I hope it's in your favor this time.
All right, let's see what our next world is going to be. It is going to be World 5. All right. And, well, now, 2 forts again, and we start with 4F1.
You know, you get the instant gratification, I think, with one of these forts, and probably a delayed with the other. I would not be surprised.
Look what we got. All right, people in chat, you know what it's time for. Get your bros out in chat, because we got the reverse orb, MidiGuy, and the Haxor at the same time.
Absolutely gorgeous. Just an incredible run here so far. And looks like MidiGuy's not going to fall prey to this one again. He's going to wait on that fortress.
Yep, and by the looks of the map, it does look like towers required.
This is stacking up to be a really interesting World 5. I'm a little curious. There is one lock here, but if there's another fort up top, that blue fort may still be required. We'll have to wait and see.
Correct. There's a lot that's probably swirling through these people's minds here. As these Hammer Brothers are in the way, Haxor is not going to take any chances and use a leaf. MidiGuy picks up a star, which I wouldn't be surprised considering he's small. He's going to use it right now.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the right play if you want to go for that item management, which both runners are definitely doing here. Stock up just a little bit and then don't stop till the end.
I'll tell you what, both runners are taking the same chance here in World 5, so if they're both wrong or right, it's not going to burn either or the other. We're going to stay level pegging.
I think the play here from MidiGuy is to take the obvious route. If it's the one that you're already headed to, go forward full steam. And so far, that's working in his favor because the Haxor's got the same thing here.
Yeah, now, Haxordid take the lead because MidiGuy stopped to pick up the fire suit. But again, this is still close and it's still early. They're both playing this tower very, very well.
Absolutely, and the HaxorR just making the P-speed look easy. That is a lot harder than he makes it look. These guys are so good.
No boss pass this time. It's just a cheap, so that's not going to be a problem for either runner. And there is not a third fort. They are home free.
That is a very fortunate thing for both of our runners, not having to play the double tower, which I'm sure is a huge sigh of relief for both. And of course, not having that second fort means the other one is on the bottom and therefore not required. So very nicely done for both these runners to keep it on the same level.
And now these runners are going to try to be all they can be here in the army, which of course does not count as one of the forts that you would see in World 8, but we do get an item at the end. We take down the Fire Bro, and it's a Fire Flower. How about that? That's an appropriate item for that Fire Bro to be carrying.
Absolutely, and a wonderful item to have across the board. I mean, what a great way to go into a level with full aggression, or if you don't have a Hammer Brothers suit, that works really well on Bowser as well.
They both pick up the P-Wing here in the Hammer Brothers stage, so now this next level, ooh, a test of clipping, it's 7-6. This could get interesting.
Absolutely, and interestingly that P-Wing would have come in real handy here.
All right.
That's about being in the right place at the right time.
Both are struggling with the clip, but HaxorR gets it first.
Yeah,
but really got it right there, so pretty much a push.
I think it took possibly one more try on the HaxorR side, but 276 to 277 leaving the stage, that is close.
Yeah, very, very close. You love to see it. You always love to see that that is not a determining factor of a race right there, as we're now in the World 7 airship.
Absolutely. When you see all the things that come out about how it has to be a perfect bit value and things like that, you know, that's one of the things, being in the right place at the right time to get that clip. And it's good to see that it's not a factor for either of these guys.
And then when you have the tail, you have sub-pixels that come into play as well, just like in Castlevania 2. Little slip up there for MidiGuy, but nothing too serious. And Roy was definitely not our boy here in World 5, a one-hit quitter.
Round one is done. That bell is rung, and it is time for World 3. Chat, get your guesses in. Where are we going next?
7. We're going to keep the odd train alive here. As it's by the way, HaxorR leads by 3 seconds. So he gained all of 4 seconds in that World 5, Grawolf.
That is incredible. I mean, these guys are so tight at this point. One little hiccup, one little misstep, a small missed jump is going to just add seconds to it, and that's all that matters in the end.
Right now, as long as coin flips do not come into play, Grawolf, every second counts. And what do you know? There it is, World 7. And again, no divergence of paths. They are following each other step for step, and we do have to play forward. Look at the layout of those two forts.
Absolutely disgusting. Not something that you want to see right off the bat. And so many pipes to choose from. I mean, are any of these going to be valid?
And they both picked the pipe with a view, the old stealth pipe there. So nothing ventured, nothing gained for either of these runners here. And they're going to continue to follow each other. And, well, that is a lock. And let's see where it takes us. Well, not to a good place. So we're going to have to go back to start, it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible how it all comes back to that first island when we've seen like 8 pipes so far and not a single one of them was right.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes sometimes, though. So we have to, well, again, we hadn't checked every pipe yet, but it's again a dead end. So yeah, we have to go back to start, it looks like.
And it looks like this is actually going to be real easy. So as soon as MidiGuy gets caught up here, we're going to have one level. We're going to have a couple fortresses. And really, it's just going to come down to, can you get through them faster than the opponent?
Well, here's a 7-8, which is, again, no walk in the park. But, I mean, it is for these two. It's definitely not for me. And there's that boss pass again. HaxorR is going to still take the pipe. MidiGuy, I would imagine, will do the same thing. But he may take a chance. He is taking a chance. You love to see it.
and not having to get a frog suit, not a bad thing. That's going to be the catch-up he needed. We've got a leadership change.
We do indeed, Growlwolf. So MidiGuy taking a risk there with that boss pass and all the other mumbo jumbo, and he has taken the lead.
Absolutely stellar. An incredible performance. Able to use that last ounce of the star that he had to get ahead. Just fantastic.
MidiGuy opting to use a tail just in case this was Fort Knox. It ends up being the Super Tanks level.
Seeing a lot of the military so far in both these seeds, which is always good to see. MidiGuy first into the pipe, and the fight with Boom Boom begins.
Yeah, only the Navy remains now, which means we're probably going to see our standard stuff in World 8. You know, Spike Fort, 3F2, World 8 Fort, and something else. But that is not the right fort. We got to play them both. And there it is! All I had to do was talk about it, Growlwolf, and the situation presents itself. That might be the quickest I've ever seen all 4 military stages in a seed.
Absolutely. World 3, we've already got the military branches accounted for. These guys were ready to come out and play. Let's see if we can get some 7F2 action next.
Why not? All right, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 as they stay neck and neck. This will unlock the secret. So through 3 worlds, barring something, we're tied still.
Absolutely incredible. TheHaxor just a few seconds faster than that one. This is give and take all the way, and with it being a real linear World 7, these guys played identical, and now they're both headed into the fight with the Conductor of Calamity here.
Now, see, this is where a divergence of paths. Oh, TheHaxor's going to play the stage, whereas MidiGuy's going to use his music box. If this ends up being a key item, that could really be a factor. Let's see what happens. What does TheHaxor get? Just a star, so a good skip there by MidiGuy.
Yeah, he is playing this absolutely outstanding. Able to fly over the mast this time in World 6. TheHaxor probably going to do the same. And now we got Ludwig von Koopa, who's putting up a fight.
Yep, TheHaxor flying over the mast in World 6 just as MidiGuy did, and MidiGuy has taken the lead back. This has been back and forth. MidiGuy led after the first world, TheHaxor led after the second world, now MidiGuy back in the lead after the third world. 13-12 upon fall down.
And that was a good 4 hits from Ludwig von Koopa. You love to see it. These guys are beefing back up for the second part of this race.
And they most certainly are here. So right now we're talking a 16-second lead for MidiGuy. So he gained 20 seconds just by skipping that level.
Absolutely incredible. And the star just not quite as powerful. Chat, you know what time it is. Get your Tanuki commands in chat.
Absolutely. Door 3 or door 6 fort. This is 3F1. Oh, MidiGuy went a little bit too far and ended up losing his power-up, so you're going to have to be a little careful here. All right, 1 and a 2 and a 3. MidiGuy is safely in there. TheHaxor not going to opt for door 3. He'll take the sure thing in door 6. And that's the way out. So MidiGuy in good position here. MidiGuy, ooh, this is 5-8. And being small, this could get interesting, Growlwolf.
Absolutely, but
oh, look at this. It's like he's played this before. How cool is that?
insane, absolutely insane, beautifully run. The P speed was perfect. The jump onto the Lakitu, orchestrated like a pro.
And TheHaxor does the same thing. Now Lakitu might come back at the end. He does not, but TheHaxor also gets a Fire Flowers. We now have 7-3 on MidiGuy's side, and knowing that there's no star there, he's not even going to bother with the question marks. He's just going to play it right through.
I've got some serious Andy vibes going on with a little background music of anything you can do, I can do better. These guys are flying.
Oh, I have said that in commentary before, what you just said there. and this could be one of those situations right here between MidiGuy and TheHaxor. But I'll tell you what, TheHaxor did cut into that lead. Just a better played 7-3 right there. And MidiGuy going to use a star. Good idea, because it's Sledgehammer Bros. He's there. TheHaxor going to have his fire suit equipped. Nice kill. Mushroom for both players. Yeah, TheHaxor is definitely cut into that lead. But MidiGuy going to use nothing. He decides to use nothing here.
I think that's such an interesting play. Like, use the peeling. Get yourself a chance at an off-screen one grab. You know, every second's going to matter. Make it count.
I mean, Haxor's going to be erasing this lead here. It's time for Larry Cheatsy Koopa. One hitter. And look at this. Haxor's has retaken the lead again. We've had 4 different leaders and 4 worlds. Unbelievable stuff here. The lead changes have been absolutely sick.
150-50. We're getting into the later half. One even small 50-50 at this point could be just a ripple effect into the end of the game. You just hope you don't see it on your side.
It's a half a second lead for the Haxor. I mean, for all intents and purposes, again, it's just a tie ball game, but we've had 3 leadership changes between the 4 worlds here, and now we go to World 2, the Desert World, a linear start, and that pipe, useless, 3-8.
Absolutely. You got to kind of start wondering about that inventory. Do you have a hammer? This may come in very handy, just as we saw last time.
Ooh, nice bounce there for MidiGuy, but Haxor's is still going to have that lead. But again, it's that half-second lead. They're in sync still. Got to watch out for the star, and MidiGuy avoids it.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. The only difference is 7 coins on the side of MidiGuy, nearly. I mean, these guys are so tight.
And 4,540 points as well. I mean, this is about as close as this could come right now between these 2 outstanding Mario 3 rando runners. But Haxor's, that star slip sliding away a little bit here.
Slip sliding for both runners. This is not the
and MidiGuy shorts that jump, and it's a Kaizo block, and that's going to give Haxor's some seconds. And I told you, every second counts right now, Growlwolf.
Oh, absolutely. You are absolutely dead on with that. I mean, we're seeing it go from a 16-second to a half-second lead. That's going to come all the way down to the wires with a big old turtle at the end.
All right, well, at least there's no gamble decisions here. It's a straightforward World 2. We must play the fort. There's a hammer, which will come in handy, actually, because we'll be able to skip a level.
Yeah, a couple levels for sure, and depending on what those are, it could be 7-5, it could be in Linux, it could be 5-9. I mean, that's enough that it would make a huge difference and make you start to wonder if you should have played it all along like that.
We're at 5F2, and MidiGuy's jumped in front of the Haxor's again. Although, I wonder if it has to do with the Hammer Bros stage here. We'll take a look at the map here in a moment there, but MidiGuy is the first to take down Boom Boom here in the lava fort.
Interestingly enough, 4 and 6 are the only 2 left that we have.
Okay, so now we know the answer. Haxor's going to take the top one, and the Haxor's is playing 6-1. There's the hammer for MidiGuy. Now, because he's went up, he's probably not going to play the, well, yeah, he will. He's not going to use the hammer. He's going to save it.
You know, I think that's such a great call because 6 could be such a huge swing if you don't have that hammer. I think this is probably a really good play, especially seeing what Haxor's has done already.
Yep, and Haxor's also not using his hammer, and Haxor's keeping this lead as we go into 5-4. Yeah, MidiGuy going the other way, playing 3-1. 5-4 will be up next for him. But Haxor's is going to extend that lead just a little bit, but Haxor's is going to slow down at the end of 5-4. So now here's MidiGuy into 5-4. They are very, very close still, but Haxor's with his biggest lead of the game so far. Which tells you how close this has been all night for game 2.
Oh, for sure. And I think MidiGuy actually had a better route there in 5-4, and he's going to cut down on this lead once again. I mean, no lead is safe. Nothing is sacred here.
Yeah, especially World 8, the great equalizer here. But the Haxor's is going to keep his lead. How salty is Morton? Oh, he's got the earthquake, boy. He is super duper mega maximum salty. Get him off the french fries, Bowser. 5-hitter, but Haxor's takes him down. 2002 is the wand grab. Let's see how MidiGuy does. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. And there's 5. Alrighty, so MidiGuy gets the job done. It's a 17-second lead for the Haxor's right now.
Absolutely crazy. 2 worlds ago, it was 16 seconds. on the side of MidiGuy. Then it was a half second for HaxOr. Now it's almost 17 seconds for the HaxOr. Now this is insane. It is too tight.
Yeah, no question about it here as we go to World 4, which again, we must build the bridge. Now, the question is how many forts? Well, HaxOr is going to be playing 5-1, so it looks like it's a forced route.
Kind of one of the things that I like to see is a World 4 that's linear. It happens so rarely because of the position of how the pipes can be, how things can kind of work out. And I'm loving this so far.
All right, MidiGuy picks up a star from that Hammer Brother, which HaxOr dodges. Is going to use a music box, so that's more time he's going to gain just because he didn't have to play that level. But here's MidiGuy now in the 1-6 beta.
So really the only divergence we've seen so far is really in just the last couple minutes where MidiGuy picked 3-1 and the 1-6 beta, whereas the HaxOr played a couple of different levels. Otherwise, this has been a identical matchup.
All right, HaxOr, no problem at all with, I believe that was 3-3 he just got done with. MidiGuy gets through the 1-6 beta. But yeah, there's the problem, is that he has been running into Hammer Brothers that HaxOr has been putting music boxes on, and our 2 forts, starting with 6F3.
MidiGuy just happened to get a cloud out of that, so that could get spicy.
If HaxOr decides to just skip everything and doesn't play the Hammer Bros suits, that could be a pivotal advantage MidiGuy could gain.
Absolutely. Time's running out for that, but it is question marks. So that means that could actually be helpful in Bowser's Castle. It would be rare, but it is possible.
Yeah, if there's like, say, a level guarding Bowser's Castle, and let's say it's 7-5, that could be the advantage MidiGuy could have on the HaxOr.
Absolutely, or heaven forbid that it's an Atlantis or a 5-9. I mean,
that's it. That is the correct fort. And HaxOr's going to skip it. He's not going to get that Jugum Cloud, Growlwolf.
Now, all that MidiGuy has to do is have that be an advantage for him.
He's got to make it work for him. If he can make it work for him, he could still win this. But there's still a long ways to go, Growlwolf.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're coming down to the wire. We're looking at maybe another 8-9 minutes of this race. I think early 30s we're going to be out of this, and MidiGuy's time is running out, but he's got the cards.
And HaxOr, that was another 5-hitter with the Iggy Koopa there. The grab is 23-12 for the HaxOr. MidiGuy is coming up right now. He sees that the good news is there, just needs to go around, and he'll be on his way. But that lead is going to extend for the HaxOr, at least on paper. But again, as MidiGuy will take the intentional because he wants P-Speed. But again, he does have a Jugum Cloud in his back pocket.
Yeah, that could very well be the entire difference. The only other thing I think we're waiting to see here is if a Hammer Brothers suit comes out. That would be the other thing we definitely would be looking for going into Bowser's Castle.
All right.
This cloud going to be huge.
2 forts here. We have a pipe check now on HaxOr's side. And that's a troll pipe. 23, it's a 45-second lead now for the HaxOr. But again, Jugum Cloud in the back pocket for MidiGuy because he played more levels because he got caught by a couple of Hammer Bros, whereas HaxOr decided to use a music box, so he's not going to have those items. So again, if MidiGuy can maximize the usage of that Jugum Cloud, he could find a way to steal game number 2 here. But again, a long ways to go.
I think the hammer play here is definitely real. There are 3 fortresses in World 6. Which one is going to allow you to get to Lemmy? I think it's going to be the big question.
And by the way, the pipes are useless. As you can see, the 4 pipes are right there on the first screen. So having a hammer here, as we do have, the World 7 forts did pair up this time. So we do have 7F1 and 7F2. And we do have a divergence, by the way.
Oh, this is maddening. This is going to be very
He is going to use the 100 coin fine. You know, thinking about this, unless there's a 3rd fort, MidiGuy didn't have to play this.
World 6 was interesting this time. All 4 pipes were on the front, so are all 3. The 3rd fort is just to the right. This is all 3 fortresses.
Oh, those are 3 forts. Okay. I didn't see the 3rd fort. That was the 3rd fort. So 7F1, 7F2, I'm going to say World 1 fort.
I don't know that I saw the Haxor go back to check for the lock. I guess he's banking on the third fortress there not being required.
Another Jugum for Meaty Guy as we get a Fire Flower for the Haxor. So we had the coin hand stage, and the prize this time was a Fire Flower. So Haxor's banking on this being the correct fort. He did not, because you're right, he did not check back. Here's 4-3.
This is very interesting. The Haxor, I think, is banking on the two fortresses there being the two locks there. So I think he's making a huge call here. This is going to get very interesting indeed. He may have to go back, and those screen transitions are not fast.
I swear, if Haxor's correct, he needs to buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, that's no joke. He has been spot on for every single 50-50 this time.
Well, Meaty Guy's now playing 7F2 as well, so if this is wrong, that means, no, this is it. No, Haxor's going to have the lead regardless. Because if it's 7F1, we saw broke a lock up front. If 7F2 wasn't the answer, then the third fort is the answer.
And both will still have to do this. I strongly suspect MidiGuy will actually look over, and then it's going to come down to using the clouds. This could still be tight, depending on what happens here.
Right. This has gotten very interesting, but my spiny senses. That's it. That was correct.
Absolutely
Haxor
crazy.
guessed right again, folks. He guessed right again.
This is absolutely disgusting gameplay from the Haxor. Spot on every single thing. Didn't even go back and check. Just somehow knew 7F2. That's the right one. He's gone.
Yep, that was the gatekeeper right there. We'll never know what that ended. Let me being the shrimp. Wow, Haxor will be the first one into World 8. Again, Meaty Guy still has Jugum Clouds in his pocket, but it's that time, folks. Make your prediction to how many bridges it will take to build the path to Bowser's Castle, as Meaty Guy will skip one, and he'll skip another. But it's still going to be a Haxor lead.
Absolutely. I got to go with 2 bridges here. I need a little bit of linear action to give Meaty Guy a chance to come back. This has got to be a close race, and it's not going to get any lighter.
I'm going to say it's going to be 0 again. And it's a Jugum Cloud for the Haxor. So the lead right now is 36 seconds. Definitely not insurmountable by any stretches. Haxor, though, going to use the cloud right there.
I mean, that's a perfect call. You've got a pipe right on the other side. You don't have to play that level again. And if it's something really toxifying, that's a great way to get out of it.
All right, and it's not going to be 4. And there's 3F2, so we have one of the mainstays. So cross that off your bingo cards.
3F2, we got a valid run finally.
We do indeed. So if Krista Joy and others are here, valid seed.
A cloud used on the side of Meaty Guy. No surprise to anyone here, I'm sure.
So both of them are level in terms of the inventory here. So 3F2. Meaty Guy sees nothing. He'll take the second pipe. He'll probably see the same situation. He'll play 3F2. Right now, barring a routing mistake by Haxor, it's looking like he's in the driver's seat.
Yeah, but how close is this? I mean, one misstep, and that could be a leadership change once again. I mean, we're about a half level difference. It could come down to just one player playing a fort they find first.
All right, Haxor now going to play the fort. No, he's not going to play the fort on the bottom right. That is an interesting decision. Suppose it's one we need to play. He's going left, and we've got 5F1.
Interesting for sure. I wonder if Meaty Guy takes the boat here as soon as he starts to find out a little bit more of the map.
Let's see what Meaty Guy decides to do. No, he's going to do the same thing that I kind of figured. So here comes the boom boom with the fireballs, and Haxor takes him down.
At what point do you start playing the crazy play to see what happens next? I mean, these guys
Meaty
are
Guy doing the
exact
same thing. These players want nothing to do with whatever fort is there. And again, it's no bridges. Haxor's found the way out. He is on his way with a rematch with Teeks88 if he could finish off Bowser.
What an incredible showing from the Haxor this time. Nothing shy of perfection, both races.
I'm telling you what, if he has that kind of luck against Teaks88 in the Grand Championship, he is going to be your first ever repeat winner.
I mean, watching this, the Haxor has done nothing wrong. All the guesses have been spot on.
And MidiGuy's right there too. But it's just going to be too little too late unless Haxor does not get the 35 fireballs.
That's true. That's not always a gimme. And if MidiGuy has any hope here, any last second luck, it's going to come right here to a damage box on Bowser.
All right, here we go. 35 fireballs, and there it is. Get your GGs out for the Haxor. He has swept the semifinals 2-0 and will have a rematch of last year's Grand Championship with Teaks88.
Absolutely stellar performance. I mean, that is going to be a gut-wrenching done here for MidiGuy. I'm sure he's going to be getting that here in just a second. You're on the fight with Bowser. You were just 20 seconds too late. How close was that?
Well, we're going to find out what the difference is. Got the fire kill as well. Get your GGs out for MidiGuy. This is probably two of the most flawless games I have ever seen played by two runners. It's just that Haxor won every single coin flip known to man in this race. But the biggest one he won was the one in World 6. Look at the difference. I said it was 26 seconds coming in. It's going to end up being 29-ish. Let's take a look at the times here. You've got them. What do we got for the times?
It looks like we've got the Haxor at 31:32 and MidiGuy with a 32:01, less than 30-second difference. Insane. Absolutely insane.
All right, folks, we do have our winner, the Haxor, here in the commentators booth with us. GG, you must have had a lucky horseshoe or a rabbit's foot in your pocket because you made every single 50-50 choice correct in both, not just one, but both races. And that was pretty much more or less the difference. Your gameplay was pretty much stellar across the board, both players.
Yeah, that was the goal going in is, don't lose the 50-50s, that's what I wanted to do. Cause I know watching him play, he's really good. He's gotten so much better, like the last 3 years, like every tournament you can see just his gameplay, how clean it is. Like, honestly, there's really not that much difference between like mine and his in terms of execution at this point because he just plays so much. But I knew like winning those 50-50s was going to be really important, obviously. Yeah.
And we do have MidiGuy here in the commentators booth with us. Stellar performance tonight. And I think at any other given time, these would have been winning results here. But you went up against someone who had all the rabbit's foots in the world today in terms of coin flips. He won every single one of them. You didn't win any of them. And that pretty much was the difference. Your gameplay between the both of you, spot on, both of you. Very, very few mistakes. I mean, let's go to game number one. So game number one, 7-1. You're small. Haxor was big, so he was able to get a lead on you. But the main difference was both World 5 and World 7.
I figured as much.
Yeah, you lost a coin flip on World 5, and you lost a coin flip on World 7. And I'll tell you what, World 7, MidiGuy or Haxor, you almost went the wrong path. You almost went the wrong path. You thought you saw the 3-pipe Monty. I'm like, nope, I don't want to play 3-pipe Monty. Let's just go back, play the one level, play the fort. And it ended up being the one that broke the lock you needed. And, that was pretty much the difference in game number one. Game number two was neck and neck for practically the whole race. But here's what happened. So World 1, MidiGuy, you led by a second. Haxor, after World 2, you led by 3 seconds. World 3, MidiGuy led by 16 seconds. World 4, Haxor was in the lead by half a second. World 5, Haxor grew that lead to about 20 seconds. But here is where the race was won. And you probably already know what it is, MidiGuy. World 6.
Is it that fort that I decided to play that I shouldn't have?
7F1, Fort Knox, yes. Because Piranha Fort was the answer. There were 3 forts, 3 chances for Haxor to be wrong, and he guessed it right again.
Jeez, you know though, I was thinking, well, I was like partially glad I played that fort because if at least I was the log blocking the way was all right, and if let's say that one pipe I had access to would lead behind the rock, which I have no idea. I don't think I checked any of them because I mean, just look at them.
Right. Now here's the thing that could have put you back into this race, Meaty Guy. Go back to World 4. You picked up a Jugum Cloud because the Hammer Brothers kept running into you. Whereas HaxorR used his music box, he missed out on that Jugum Cloud. Plus, he missed out on the Jugum Cloud in World 6, which you utilized very, very well in World 6, I must say, to stay in the game. But unfortunately, the playing of Fort Knox ended up being the gold mine for the HaxorR in this one because, yeah, the Jugum Clouds, because you were trailing me, we kept saying, those Jugum Clouds in his back pocket, they're going to put him back into this race. But one 7F1 was played, and once we saw that 7F2 didn't break the lock on Meaty Guy's side, I'm thinking, he's got it. Unless it's the third fort, we'll never know what the third fort was. Unless it was the third fort that broke the lock, it was pretty much going to be curtains right there. And
on the first race too, like by the time I got to World 7, I was pretty sure I was behind there, so that was my main motivation for going I mean, both forts were like behind like 2 levels. I mean, a level and a half, I guess you could say, because the Piranha stage is pretty short. But so I figured I'll go the longer way. I'm gonna take this gamble. If this works out, it's gonna help me greatly. If not, well, curtains. And then, of course, yup. And then, World 5, I was getting flashbacks to another World 5, which I believe it was us two that faced off then, that we were faced with another 50-50 that had to go with either doing the tower or playing a level, then going into the pipe. And that I also did wrong. I think I played the tower first last time as well, and it bit me hard there as well.
It seems like, I don't know, I don't know. Okay, so like the past several times I've done practice seeds, it's been the level behind the pipe. I literally just played a seed that had the same setup in World 5 like 2 hours ago, and it was the same answer. Like, you know, it's weird how that worked out.
All of a sudden, HaxorR's become the Michael Larson of Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer. He's found the patterns of Fred. Hey, Fred, I hope you're listening. You need to make your randomizer better.
I don't know, because I think I recall what you're talking about. Was that when we raced last year? There was something like that we took the tower and it ended up being the pipe.
I think it was the 2021 SG Live, I think. If I recall correctly. Yeah, that was something else.
I don't know. It seems like it should be a 50-50, but I every time I've played it this year, it's always been you play the level, then go in the pipe. I don't know if that's something, but it seems to be.
World 5 in the second race too was a bit scary as well, because we were presented with like 2 forts, and you see the lock right there, and then there's just the tower, no pipes, just the towers. Oh geez, please don't let there be a third fort and have a lock in front of the castle. And there wasn't. I took a chance on that. I mean, we were on the second world, so
you both took the same chance. So even if you would have been wrong there, Meaty, HaxorR would have done the same thing.
Yeah, well, I figured the odds were so low because we hadn't seen the 3 fort yet, but we're only 2 worlds in. I mean, what are the odds at that point? Of course, in the first race, this is the routing thing that I know could have been avoided. For once, it was bad to go straight to the blue fort, just in case that other orange fort was the one to break the lock, and of course it was. And
I thought about doing that too, and then I was like, wait, no, this could be the fort. Let me play that. And then when I saw it, it was like it wasn't one fort. I was like, okay, this is actually a pretty good chance. This is the right one.
Yeah. By the time I just barely, I was beating the fort. I was like, wait, I made a bad call here. This could bite me. Oh well, there you go. And then World 7. Both World 7s were interesting as well. I don't know if you wound up just looking through all those pipes in the second
did.
Races World
Yep.
7. Jeez.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
we
you're
really
like,
got-
oh, yeah, I got to go all the way back. You know, at least I paid it. I'm like thinking at the beginning, I have a feeling it's going to be that pipe. So I'm going to remember exactly where this pipe is so I don't get lost.
yeah. I was praying that one of these pipes, like, just lead me to the room with a view or something. That'd be convenient at this case for some reason. I can't remember when I had that thought of. I think it was around that time. I forget why. In any case, yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah, for both races, Worlds 5 and 7 were like the standout, and then World 6 in the second.
Yeah, the World 6 in the second race here, unfortunately, ended up being your undoing. You played very well, and I think a lot of people might agree you deserved a better fate. I know a lot of people were hoping this would go the distance. You know, looking at the caliber of runners and looking at your showcase and your displaying your gameplay, this definitely had all of the ingredients to go all 3 games. Just didn't work out that way. Well, TheHaxor, congratulations. You are moving on to the Grand Championship for a second consecutive year. And once again, just like in 2021, you're going up against Teaks88 in your bid to become our first back-to-back champion. So go over your thoughts about your upcoming rematch against last year's runner-up.
Well, I mean, I knew it was a tournament, and Mitch and Teeks were in the tournament, but they were on the other side. So I knew I was going to end up playing one of them, you know, just because that's just the lore. I always got to play Mitch or Teeks. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm making the finals, you know.
You were pretty confident.
Totally
well,
yeah.
Your instinct ended up being right, Axer.
So it turns out, you know, the anime battle with Teeks is stronger than the one with Mitch. So yeah, should be fun.
And I almost broke the lore. Almost. I might have had a
almost.
In my case, it's gonna be actually, I think this is the first time ever I think I'm gonna be going up against Proa. This is the first time ever since I've started doing these. Actually, I think we faced each other like what, 4 times now?
Yeah, something like that. I think it's at least 3. I know the SG Lives. I think I played you in both of them. So
yeah, indeed. And I think the first time was the very first tourney I took part in 2019. I think we were in the same group. I think, if I recall correctly. Wait.
Yep.
I think so. Yeah. Been a long time. I have to look at the brackets, but I believe so. But yeah, I'm looking forward to these last 2 matches coming up. That's for sure. It's gonna be fun times. I'll be ready.
Absolutely. Good luck.
And also, many thanks. Likewise, and I'm gonna look forward to watch these the restream here. I can't wait to see how this turned out.
Yeah, I agree. This should be fun to watch back. But, you know, as I said, you know, it's good to win 50-50s. It's probably, if you're going to win the tournament, you know, coming from last year, you got to win 50-50s. And, you know, I won the 50-50s today. So, you know, got to keep doing that. And
yeah, if you win 50-50s in your championship against Teaks88 like you did today against MidiGuyDP, I think we are going to see you be our first repeat champion. But, of course, Teaks88 will definitely have a lot to say. He's going to want his revenge.
Yeah, definitely. It's always tough racing him. I think he's definitely improved as well, even from last year. I think, like, when I watched him play Mitch, I thought he played like really smart on some of the games. You know, game 3 he just went like super ham, but I think like game 1, because he played so smart, he actually won that game. So yeah, be fun.
Yeah, no question about it. And of course, Meaty Guy, you'll be taking on Pro A 007 in the bronze medal match. So again, that's going to be another exciting one that we'll be having in the near future. But again, GG to TheHaxor. Moving on to your second consecutive Grand Championship. We wish both of you the best of luck in your final matches of the tournament. Growlwolf, any questions or comments for either of these runners?
All I can say is thank you so much for an incredible race. I was honored and privileged to be here tonight, and you guys put on an outstanding performance, so thank you.
Many thanks. Was a lot of fun. looking forward to the next.
Yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it. Hope everyone has a good night.
And with that, I think that's all the time we have for tonight. So thank you so much for being a part. Chat, you guys make this amazing, and we appreciate you guys being here. Speed Gaming, everybody behind the scenes has done just a wonderful job for this tournament. So much goes into it, and we definitely appreciate all their time and efforts as well. I think that's all that we have for tonight. So on behalf of TheHaxor, MidiGuyDP, LOZ Cards Fan 23, and the entire SMB3 Randomizer community, we want to say thank you. Keep randomizing, keep racing, and take care.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.